Welcome to the wild world of political intrigue, where the official story is often just the tip of the iceberg. Buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the recent mysterious terror attempt on President Trump. Did you know the shooter got within 130 meters of Trump, despite a sea of Secret Service agents with high-tech gear and eagle eyes? Mind-blowing, right? If you're itching to explore the secret scenarios behind this terror plot and uncover who might have wanted Trump out of the picture, stick around, because it's coming up. Let's kick things off by examining why this whole terror scene smells fishier than a seaside dumpster. The Secret Service dropped the ball big time, and here's why. First off, we're talking major security fail. It's downright scary that some 20-year-old amateur gunman managed to get within spitting distance of Trump. We're talking 130 meters, folks. That's closer than you'd get at a Taylor Swift concert. This guy climbed up on a nearby roof, rifle in hand, and started taking potshots at Trump while surrounded by agents with high-tech gear and eagle eyes. It's like they were all taking a collective nap or something. Now, get this. Witnesses spotted the gunman with his rifle and tried to alert the police. But apparently, the cops were too busy munching on donuts to take it seriously. One eyewitness told the BBC he saw the shooter scaling the building, rifle and all. He claims he pointed the guy out to Secret Service and even called the police. So, we at English Rumi gotta ask, if this average Joe could spot the shooter, how come the Secret Service agents, equipped with the most modern surveillance gear money can buy, missed him? I mean, we're talking about a guy with a rifle, not a needle in a haystack. And here's where it gets even crazier. When the police finally got the call, why didn't they clear the area and shut down the whole shebang? I mean, come on! Back in my high school days, my buddy could call in a fake bomb threat to dodge an exam, and boom! The cops would swoop in, clear the joint, and send everyone packing. So how come, for a real, honest-to-goodness threat like this, the police just shrugged it off? Now, let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. The area where Trump was speaking was wide open, like a giant game of Where's Waldo, minus the crowd. We're talking only a handful of buildings and a sea of open space. You'd think the Secret Service, tasked with protecting the leaders of the free world, could handle keeping tabs on a few measly structures. But apparently, that was too much to ask. These guys are equipped with binoculars and drones to examine the area. How come their drones didn't spot this guy with the rifle? It's downright astonishing that they seem to have missed such a glaring threat, especially in such an exposed location when they could even use their eyes in the sky. Look at these guys in this footage. They're in an elevated position, visually dominant on the building where the gunman took his shot. But even these agents, perched up high like hawks, didn't see the shooter. It's starting to look like they were operating on a see no evil, hear no evil policy when it came to this potential threat. Now, here's where it gets even more bizarre. Director Kimberly Cheadle of the Secret Service suggested that the roof used by the shooter was too dangerous for agents to stand on, claiming the location where the shooter was located was not a location that we would have been able to put agents on, because it was too high, too far away, and too exposed. So, while the agents had the tools to monitor the area, they apparently deemed the roof too risky to patrol. It raises the question, if the Secret Service can't even secure a vantage point in such an open area, how can we trust them to protect a president? Now, let's get to the juicy stuff. Who's been gunning for Trump? Buckle up, because we're about to name names and connect some seriously mind-blowing dots. Trump's got more enemies than a reality TV villain. We're talking personal beefs, business rivalries, and political showdowns. This guy's been ruffling feathers since he first slapped his name on a building. On the political front, Trump's been catching heat since he first threw his MAGA hat into the ring back in 2015. His campaign was like a bull in a china shop, smashing through political norms and leaving a trail of offended politicians in his wake. Big names like Mitt Romney and John McCain were throwing shade left and right. Romney even called Trump a fraud and a phony. But it didn't stop there. Trump's presidency was like a 4-year season of Survivor, White House edition. We had Russian interference allegations, not one but 2 impeachments, and let's not forget the COVID-19 fiasco. Even his own party started turning on him. The Lincoln Project, a bunch of disgruntled Republicans, went full mean girls and actively campaigned against him in 2020. Then came the grand finale, the January 6th Capitol riot. Talk about going out with a bang. This led to a tsunami of criticism from both sides of the aisle. Trump got slapped with his second impeachment faster than you can say you're fired. Even Mitch McConnell, who's usually got Trump's back, threw him under the bus, saying he was practically and morally responsible for the riot. During Biden's presidency, Trump's been hit with more legal challenges than a personal injury lawyer at a slip-and-fall convention. His supporters are crying witch hunt, so loud you'd think Salem was having a reunion. Meanwhile, his critics are chanting lock him up, with more enthusiasm than a Black Friday crowd at Walmart. Considering all these, we might understand why many well-known conspiracy theorists believe that the deep state or hidden government of the USA may want Trump dead. Stephen Bannon and Alex Jones claim that the FBI's 2022 search of Mar-a-Lago was actually a covert assassination attempt orchestrated by the Biden administration. They argue that the FBI agents wore plain clothes instead of uniforms, suggesting this was intended to create confusion and make it appear as a potential attack or burglary. They were also authorized to use lethal force, which these guys see as part of a premeditated plan to provoke a violent confrontation with Trump's Secret Service detail. They believe this was all part of a broader conspiracy to eliminate Trump as a political rival. Now, let's flip the script. Trump himself isn't exactly a stranger to making enemies. He's been throwing around threats like a Vegas dealer throws cards, promising to use government power against his political opponents if re-elected. We're talking investigations, indictments, jail time, the whole 9 yards. It's like he's auditioning for the role of a comic book villain. So, it's no shocker that a guy who talks like that might ruffle a few feathers. But here's the million-dollar question. Who among his many adversaries has the guts, the motivation, the resources, and the chutzpah to actually pull off something as crazy as this terror attempt? It's like we're living in a real-life game of Clue, and everyone's a suspect. First up, we've got Al-Shabaab, the Somali-based terrorist group. Back in 2019, they released a video that was basically a How to Attack America for Dummies guide, with Trump's name right at the top of the hit list. But let's be real, these guys probably couldn't find their way out of a paper bag in the US, let alone pull off a sophisticated attack. Now, enter the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. These guys aren't messing around. Their commander, Hossein Salami, yes, that's his real name, has been making threats that sound like they're straight out of a bad action movie. He's talking about decisive, serious, and real revenge for the death of General Soleimani. It's like he's auditioning for the role of a Bond villain. Even the Islamic Republic's big cheese, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. This guy's been promising harsh revenge for Soleimani's death like it's his daily mantra. He's the one with his finger on Islamic Republic's trigger. Folks, remember, as per request of our Iranian viewers, in our channel we don't use the word Iran to refer to the government of Iran. Instead, we use Islamic Republic, which is how the politicians of this tyrant regime represent themselves anyway. It's like they're trying to win a prize for the most ironic name in geopolitics. Now, let's talk about the IRGC's Greatest Hits Tour. Back in 1994, they hit Argentina with the AMIA bombing in Buenos Aires, killing 85 people. That's right, they were causing chaos in South America before it was cool. Now, fast forward to 2024, and they're still in it in South America. In Peru, they tried to take out an Israeli citizen at an economic forum. But here's where it gets juicy, they didn't send in their own guys. Nope, they recruited a local Iranian-Peruvian citizen and his big-shot Peruvian buddy belonging to a local criminal network to do the dirty work. It's like they're running a terrorist temp agency. In 2011, they tried to hire the Mexican drug cartel Los Zetas to assassinate Adel Al-Jubeir, the Saudi ambassador to the US, right here on American soil. And in 2021, they went for the bold move of trying to kidnap Masih Alinejad, an Iranian-American journalist, from her home in Brooklyn. These guys are like the James Bond villains of the real world. Now, speaking of Mexican cartels, let's talk about Trump for a sec. During his presidency, the Donald took a hardline stance against these guys. We're talking military force, terrorist designations, death penalties, the whole 9 yards. This didn't exactly make him Mr. Popular with the cartels. After incidents like the Mormon family massacre in northern Mexico, Trump doubled down. And the cartels? Well, they weren't sending him any Christmas cards. Here's where it gets really interesting. The IRGC's got a grudge against Trump for taking out General Soleimani, and the cartels are nursing their own beef thanks to his policies. It's like a perfect storm of who wants to take a shot at the Donald. Could these unlikely bedfellows be behind the recent assassination attempt on Trump? It's like a crossover episode of your favorite crime shows. The IRGC and the Cartels, teaming up for the ultimate revenge plot. It's a theory wild enough to make even the most hardened conspiracy theorists' heads spin. But in this crazy world of international intrigue, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And remember, they don't have to do the dirty work themselves, they could just find some poor sap to do it for them. We know, the FBI's identified our shooter as Thomas Matthew Crooks. But here's the million-dollar question. Is he the real deal, or just a patsy in a much bigger game? I mean, we've all seen enough spy movies and documentaries to know that sometimes the guy pulling the trigger isn't the one calling the shots. Speaking of shots being called, let's take a trip down memory lane to the JFK assassination. That's right, we're going full conspiracy theory here. Many folks have pointed fingers at the deep state for that one. It's like a game of political Clue. Was it the CIA in the book depository with the magic bullet? Now, let's throw China into this political pressure cooker. Trump's been tougher on China than a drill sergeant at boot camp. But here's the kicker, China doesn't have the same terror resume as our friends at the IRGC. They're more into economic warfare than boots-on-the-ground action.
Here is a quick PSA. If you want to support our cause, consider buying us a coffee at our buymeacoffee.com page. Some of our videos, especially the ones where we critique religions, get slapped with the not advertiser friendly label faster than you can say heretic. Your support keeps us going and keeps the truth flowing.
Alright, folks, let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole of political intrigue. We're about to connect some dots that'll make your head spin faster than a politician's stance on election day. Let's talk about Sleepy Joe Biden and the Democrat establishment. They've been cozying up to the Islamic Republic like they're old college buddies. Secret talks in Oman, unfreezing funds, going easy on the Islamic Republic's nuclear program, and their aggressive policies and proxies in the Middle East. It's like he's trying to win the Best Friend of the Islamic Republic award. And get this, in early June 2024, while the Europeans are trying to play hardball with the Islamic Republic's nuclear program, Biden's team is over here like, can't we all just get along? It's like watching a game of good cop, bad cop, but Biden forgot which role he's supposed to play. Now, here's where it gets really wild. Imagine this. What if secret agents from two enemy countries decided to team up for a hit job on a shared favorite target? But wait, it gets even crazier. What if the security agents in the country hosting the target intentionally left the security hurdles wide open? We're talking security holes big enough to drive a tank through. It's like leaving your front door unlocked and putting up a neon sign saying "Assassins Welcome." It's like the ultimate spy movie plot twist. But buckle up, Buttercup, because this is where the plot thickens faster than Grandma's gravy. The director of the Secret Service admitted they received reports of possible threats to Trump's life from the IRGC only 2 weeks before the incident. Now, you'd think this would be the cue for them to go into full-on, DEFCON 1, security overdrive, right? Wrong. Instead of beefing up security like they were expecting the Avengers to show up, they decided to take it down a notch. No drones patrolling the area, because apparently, the sky was taking a day off. And securing the second closest building to Trump on the day of his speech? Nah, too much effort. It's like they were playing security roulette, and Trump's safety was the ball bouncing around the wheel. Now, I know what you're thinking. But wait, you say, America's got more guns than a Michael Bay movie. Shootings happen all the time. And you're not wrong. But here's where it gets spicy. This isn't just any old shooting. It's happening right when the political landscape is shifting like sand in a desert storm. Let's not forget this assassination attempt happened right after Biden fumbled the presidential debate like a quarterback with buttered fingers. And it's right on the heels of the Supreme Court handing out get-out-of-jail-free cards to former presidents for their official acts. Coincidence? They've basically given Trump a shield bigger than Captain America's. This decision is putting the brakes on that pesky little criminal case in Washington where Trump's accused of trying to flip the 2020 election like a pancake. This ruling? It's playing right into Trump's hands like he's got the world's best poker face. It's all about pushing that trial back until after the election. Talk about a legal Hail Mary. Look, we're not saying there's definitely a conspiracy here, but if this were a game of political poker, we'd say someone's holding some pretty suspicious cards. If we, the people, just depend on official narrations and accept them as they are, we'll all just stay politically dumb, and the elite will continue to rule us however they want. If you're interested in seeing our critique on the official narration of Iran's president's death, make sure to check out this clip of ours. So, what do you think? Who's behind the attempt on Trump's life? The Mexican cartel? The IRGC? The deep state of America? Or perhaps a combination of some or all of these players? Maybe you have another suspect in mind? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till later, peace.